Warning, this video contains various spoilers for the entire Kingdom Hearts franchise. Much like Digimon Frontier, the Kingdom Hearts franchise turned 20 years old this year, with the Kingdom Hearts anniversary event happening the day this video goes live. It's almost like I did it on purpose. So, to celebrate that fact, why don't we give Digimon partners to the 13 Darknesses and the 7 Lights? What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and yes, I found this old foam Oathkeeper that I bought like 5 years ago. One of the bits of the key is broken off, but you know, Kingdom Hearts. I'm just gonna put this behind me. Sure. And yeah, as I pointed out on Twitter, Kingdom Hearts and Digimon feel like a pretty natural combo. There's light and darkness at battle, and well, there's an awful lot of belts and jorts too. Want to give a huge shout out to my bud Hunter, who you can hear us making fun of over on the second channel, who helped me bounce around a ton of these ideas. And I do want to say, because we have 20 plus people to give Digimon partners to this time, I'm not going to be giving them all full evolution lines, but rather one signature partner, and then maybe an evolution or pre-evolution, maybe throw some other ideas, just for length, because I don't want this video to be like 40 minutes long. So let's begin with the Darknesses and the head honcho of those Darknesses. Well, until we know what's going on with the Master of Masters and Foretellers anyway, Master Xehanort. I have given Master Xehanort the primary partner of Mephismon. This is for a variety of reasons. The old goat himself is tied to a lot of goat imagery, which of course ties back to common satanic imagery. Whether it be his Keyblade, which I guess is Lushu's Keyblade, which I guess is the Master of Masters Keyblade, having a prominent goat insignia, to Xehanort's vessels in Scala ad Caelum. I think Mephismon is a no-brainer partner for Master Xehanort. I have then chosen its Evo to be the old, wizened, greedy Barbamon, which is a very natural partner for Xehanort too, especially as it is part of the 7 Great Demon Lords group, which of course draws parallels to the 7 Lights and 13 Darknesses group's idea. If I were to do a full line for Master Xehanort, I might use less overtly evil Digimon, like maybe Petermon, to hint at the kind of light of children in Kingdom Hearts and also the pointed pixie ears. Maybe I'd even have Popomon as his baby Digimon partner because, well, it is a dandelion. And next up is Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. This was a tough one. I wanted to reference his nature as Terranort's Heartless, but there's not a lot of Digimon that fill that role. Ultimately, I settled on his partner being Lady Devimon X. She feels very evocative of the same sort of imagery we see in the Heartless, and of course is accompanied by Voli, her familiar, which of course stands as a parallel to Ansem, Seeker of Darkness's Guardian, who he uses in battle. And are we still calling it the Guardian now, or do we call it Terra? I genuinely don't know. Anyway, the other point I wanted to hit there is Barry Kramer's favourite, the Ansem boat from the end of KH1. I considered 2 Digimon for this. Leviamon, which matches the overall colour palette of Ansem boat. I know it probably has some official form or boss name, but it's always going to be Ansem boat to me. Or the Digimon I settled on, which is Ceresmon. Ceresmon is a big, flying, monstrous form, but its pilot, if you will, is the Ceresmon Medium, a very feminine Digimon, which makes for, I think, a smoother evolution line from the feminine Lady Devimon X, and of course functions very similarly to Ansem Boat. And switching over to his nobody, we have Xemnas. Mansex has some stuff that makes him pretty interesting. Obviously, his main sort of weapon is lightsabers, which I guess is actually tied to young Xehanort's energy weapon, but also of course has the armoured form you fight in the world that never was in Kingdom Hearts 2. But there is something extra poignant about Xemnas and the nobodies and their quests to have hearts that I've always really connected with, and think adds a lot of depth to them over some other enemies in the series. It's no coincidence, I think, that so many nobodies end up redeemed or given sympathy in the franchise, and so I think that's an important part of Xemnas' partner, so I have chosen to give him Duskmon. It wields 2 red swords, which aren't necessarily energy weapons, but definitely evoke the same vibe as Xemnas' 2 weapons, and of course, Duskmon is the corrupted spirit for Koichi in Digimon Frontier, who would eventually go on to be redeemed or return to his true self, but as Xemnas doubled down on darkness until his end in KH3, where there was some peace made with Sora, I will not have a redeemed Mega for him, instead choosing Dark Knightmon and or Dark Knightmon X. This is in reference to Xemnas' armoured form, which even carries a similar red weapon in its right hand, and also Dark Knightmon X has dual energy blade weapons, which really does bring it all home. Next is Xigbar, and listen, I warned you about spoilers. I know Xigbar is Lushu now, we all do. The problem is, our information on Lushu outside of his mission from the Master of Masters and his Keyblade is pretty limited. As such, in this instance for now, I've chosen to mainly give Xigbar partners based on his life as Xigbar and Braig, which I think makes ultimately more sense, and maybe once we have more information on the Foretellers and Lushu in future, I can also give them Digimon partners, although they're all animal themed, I guess, so. As such, I have given Xigbar the gun-toting Astamon. I did consider Lilithmon, as Lushu's name comes from Luxuria, meaning lust, but it didn't feel like a great pick overall for Xigbar. According to the Digimon reference book, Astamon is a prince of the dark area, which governs a legion of demon Digimon. It shows cruelty to its enemies and kindness to its friends, and because of that charisma, it is expected to gain a considerable number of followers among demon Digimon, which I think matches up really nicely with the very charismatic Xigbar who commands his legion of sniper nobodies, but also his role within the Organization 13 and the True Organization 13, and potentially within the Foretellers too. Astamon would then digivolve to Beelzemon, once again another gun toter, but also with a story across seasons, like Digimon Tamers and Cross Wars, where it toes that line between evil and good, and you never quite know where its allegiances will ultimately lie. And this also gives me a good opportunity to suggest that the rookie should be Impmon X, because it's got an eye patch and the X. Give it to you. And speaking of characters who initially seemed really straightforward, but now we have a lot of hidden depth and potential to be explored in their character, it's Luxord. Luxord. I say Luxord, I think that's how they pronounce it in KH3. I have to unironically give Luxord Cardmon, just because I'd feel silly if I didn't, but I think a great candidate for his Cardmon to become would be Jokermon, in reference of course to the Joker card in a set of playing cards, but also Luxord's trickster fighting style. I'd also like to see like a mod or something for KH3 which replaces Luxord's cards with cards from the current Digimon card game. I think that would be fun. Or the card backs from Digimon Tamers too. Next is Larxene, and I had some difficulty here. Her lightning, thunder element, and knives you think would give her a natural partner, but actually I just wasn't happy with some of the more obvious ones. Rageramon didn't feel like it belonged to her, neither did most Friendship Armor Digimon really, and then Hunter and I settled on the Pulsemon evolution branch of Examon to Climbmon. This gives us a combination of a few things. Obviously the climbing equipment of Climbmon acts as a parallel to Larxene's knives, we have the electricity folded in from all of the Pulsemon branches, and there is something of a darkness to the virus type Climbmon, which works well for Larxene's villainous role. We could also then have the Mega be Shivamon, which while visually doesn't add anything major, is the most feminine of Pulsemon's Megas, I guess. Kinda. And Marluxia, weirdly I think my favourite member of the original Organization 13, but the one I found most underused in the true Organization 13. He of course would have to have a Rosemon. Roses are a huge part of his motif, but the other factor is of course his weapon of choice, the scythe, the graceful Dahlia, which isn't a rose. Okay, maybe his motif is just pink flowers then. Editing Karn here. I didn't put this in the original script, but the more I think about it, isn't it interesting that Marluxia's scythe is called the graceful Dahlia, and years later it would be revealed that in the past his character Laurium had a sister, a female character who died, and the Black Dahlia murders are a very prominent real-world murder of a woman. The more crazy. Regardless, I would have his Mega be Ophanimon fall down mode. Of course, a fallen Digimon matching his role in the evil organizations, but then also Rosemon and Ophanimon fall down mode act as a reference to the final battles with Marluxia in Chain of Memories and Rechain of Memories, second and final forms, both being atop or accompanied by huge feminine monsters, one of which is winged and holding a scythe just like Ophanimon fall down mode. I think over time these have evolved to be references to his sister Strelitzia, so you can definitely see Rosemon and Ophanimon fall down mode as a reference to Strelitzia too. Moving over to Saix, well, he's a werewolf berserker who commands the berserker nobodies, so I've given him Cerberusmon and Cerberusmon werewolf mode to reference his dual lunar nature. Could also give him Cerberusmon X if he wanted to fold in the X motif of the Organization 13, but then I'm going to have his Mega be Ancient Garuramon. This of course keeps up the wolf theme, but also hints at the goodness in Saix or Issa. Ancient Garuramon is also one of the few Digimon to brandish a claymore, and the claymore is Saix's signature weapon. Next up is Terranort, and to put it out there on Front Street, I am giving him the same ultimate as I will give to Terra later in this list, and that is Groundramon, of course referencing Terra's connection to the Earth, from his literal name to his Keyblades, but I will have Terranort's Groundramon become Examon. It is is often used as a sort of Ultra or Jogress Mega though, which works nicely with Terranort being two people, Terra and Xehanort, in one body. And also Xemon has the letter X in its name too. A simple set of picks, but ones that I really like. Next up is Dark Riku, and as such I'm going to give him Puppet Digimon, reflecting the fact that his body is a puppet. KH lore experts are just furiously typing right now. So the puppet type Digimon I have given him will be Systemon Blank digivolving to Systemon Noir, or I guess CL for censorship reasons in the West. Nuns with guns feels very on brand for Riku's quirky darkness, and of course their femininity hints at the relationship between Riku, Replica Riku, and Namine, as well of course Namine's ties to many members of both organizations. I think we could also definitely have some puppet Digimon like Warumonzemon too, but I just think the Systemons would be the kind of partner Dark or Replica Riku would have. He needs a milady to defend after all. And then from puppets to Muppets is Vanitas. I have chosen to give him Wendigomon and Cherubimon Vice. These are both Digimon who act as the dark other half of the Lopmon line, and ostensibly the dark counterpart to the Terriermon line too, especially Willis's Kokomon in Digimon the Movie / Hurricane Touchdown. Cherubimon Vice is also one of the main antagonists of Digimon Frontier, who spends a lot of time corrupting Koichi and dealing in the corrupted and dark spirits. So I think this feels like a good parallel to Vanitas being the extracted darkness of Ventus and the progenitor of the Unversed. Our penultimate darkness is the young Master Xehanort. The True Organization 13 is such a mess. A very interesting young man. He has his own Keyblade, but also wields the energy weapon lightsabers that would end up being why Xemnas also wields them. As such, I wanted to give him a parallel to Xemnas' partner, who of course I chose as Duskmon, and so we'll give the cunning young Xehanort Lobomon. It also wields the dual weapons just like Duskmon of course, because Koji and Koichi in Frontier are brothers. I'd also have his rookie be Strabimon, because it is a sort of incomplete or depowered juvenile Digimon, which has a lot of allegories to young Xehanort himself. While the young Xehanort we see in most mainline Kingdom Hearts games is basically evil, or at least on the road to evil, there is of course the fact that not long before that he was the non-evil Xehanort of Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. So the fact that he gets a Digimon from Digimon Frontier, which featured a team of 6 kids, I think also works quite well to mirror the group of 6 friends, including Xehanort, in Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. And our final member of the 13 Darknesses technically is Xion, although she does defect to the side of light, so this is our midpoint I suppose. Much like Dark or Replica Riku, I also wanted to give her puppet Digimon, but it was also important to me to reference Sora and his kindness that we see reflected in Xion, because, well, she is made up of Sora's memories. As such, I have chosen Opossumon. This is a Digi-Egg of Kindness armored Digimon, but is also commonly depicted as being quite wicked under the surface, or at the very least hiding its true nature. It has black fur like Xion's black hair, and has a distinct Mickey Mouse quality, which KH1 Sora also embodied, because I believe at one time or another Mickey was intended to be the protagonist of Kingdom Hearts before it was decided it should be a neutral child. They also, at one point, were going to have Sora be like a lion boy with a chainsaw blade. Kingdom Hearts has been through the ringer. I would then have Opossumon become the puppet Digimon Cho Hakaimon, a young girl in odd armor wielding a big weapon. I don't have a ton of lore for this reason, I just think Cho Hakaimon and Xion works really well together. Sue me. And hey, if you're a Digimon fan and a Kingdom Hearts fan, you're probably also a fan of things like virtual pets or Tamagotchis, and if you're having a tough time deciding between the 13 Darks and the 7 Lights, today's sponsor ZeninTCG will help you make that decision. ZeninTCG is a wonderful store which does focus on Digimon goods, but also stocks stuff for anime and video games, and recently when Kingdom Hearts announced they would be doing a Kingdom Hearts Tamagotchi in collaboration with Bandai, ZeninTCG got them stocked. So if you want to get the light Kingdom Hearts Tamagotchi or the dark one, each with different raising paths on them, I would highly recommend purchasing them from ZeninTCG. So make sure you jump into the description down below to snag yourself one or both of these Tamagotchis. Zenin, like I say, does focus on Digimon, but is opening up to a bunch of video games and anime, including Demon Slayer, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, and tons more. So check out the Kingdom Hearts Tamagotchi, check out the new items, let Zenin know I sent you their way, and thank you to ZeninTCG for sponsoring this video. And okay, time for the 7 lights at last, plus some adjacent lights, some street lights. For Sora, I'm sure many of you have been chomping at the bit all video for this, but yes, I will be giving Sora Clavis Angemon. It's an angel warrior with a fucking keyblade, of course I'm giving it to Sora. Now that's not to say it wouldn't work great for someone like Ventus, who of course harnesses and embodies the wind, and Clavis Angemon is a wind guardian, but we have like one keyblade Digimon, I have to give it to Sora. But again, as Kingdom Hearts is constantly evolving with Sora entering Quadratum and the world of Verum Rex, and over the course of the franchise, the darkness inside him being referenced, from failing his mark of mastery to having like anti-form in KH2, all the way back to KH1 when he became Heartless, I do think Sora's darkness will be explored more in the franchise, and so I think a dark partner for him isn't necessarily the worst decision, but I'm not giving one to him right now because once again, we don't have enough info right now. I just have this feeling that the Kingdom Hearts Anniversary event stuff is going to get leaked early and the next game's going to be like, Kingdom Hearts, Evil Sora. Clavis Angemon also protects the Zenith Gate, which acts as a doorway between the digital world and the other worlds, and is sealed by 360 doors that only Clavis Angemon can open with his key. Really surprised this Digimon that came out in 2005 isn't a Kingdom Hearts crossover, honestly. So let's leave it at Clavis, who will then become Susanumon. This of course referencing the power of friendship.
My friends, they are my power!
Sora's friends are his power, and Susanumon is the form where all the Frontier friends' spirits combine. Another good pick would also be Omnimon Merciful Mode, as it has angel wings and is manifested from all the Kids and Adventures crests combined. I had a lot of temptation to give Sora a Digimon connected to the crest of friendship, but nothing I was fully happy with outside of that joke. Like, there's no way that Sora would get a Gabumon and Riku and Agumon, it would definitely be the other way around. But you know, give Sora a random friendship armor if you want. And very quickly, while not one of the lights, Roxas was of course an instrumental player in the endgame of KH3 and the whole Kingdom Hearts franchise since KH2, well technically since the end of Chain of Memories, so we have to include him here. I wanted to reference Roxas's dual wielding, but also his rank within the original organization, commanding the Samurai Nobodies. As such, I've given him the Mega Mastemon, its wings of light and dark being fantastic references to Roxas's Twilight and wielding of Oathkeeper and Oblivion. A nobody with a heart, treading both sides of light and dark. And then to add his Samurai Nobody, Prevo will be Zambamon. It's definitely not perfect, but I think addresses some unique parts of Roxas that other Digimon do not possess. Would definitely love to hear your thoughts on a full line for Roxas here though, let me know. Riku I have given Lucemon Fall Down Mode, this in reference to Riku treading the paths of darkness and of course the way to dawn, and while Lucemon Fall Down Mode is Fall Down Mode, I think it is far from out of the question that a Lucemon could be redeemed in a story rather than falling to darkness. Its reference book listing even makes reference to that fact, stating it has a contradictory existence, in that one side of it loves all things as God does, while the other is trying to destroy the world as the devil does. Then for Riku's Mega, I've chosen Alphamon, because yes, it would act as a good counterpart to Sora, especially if we did give him Omnimon Merciful Mode rather than Susanumon, but also because, mild spoilers for Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, skip to this timestamp if you don't want to see them, Alphamon is a car in that game, and Riku's Keyblade in KH3 is a car key, which we've only really seen before in Fenrir in KH2, and that was definitely a motorbike key in reference to Advent Children's Cloud, so car key guy gets a car Digimon, I guess. Then is the Birth by Sleep trio. I have included Terra because while he isn't one of the 7 lights, I've already included Terranort, and it would be really weird to just leave Terra off this video. And of course, one of the more unique parts of the BBS trio is that they use armor to traverse the worlds and the darkness between. So I think it would be very appropriate to give each of them armored Digimon. Aqua presented some challenges. There's no real water mage Digimon as far as I can tell. We have ice mages like Sorcerymon and Hexablaumon, but I decided to lean in heavily to the Aqua in Aqua. Her armor Digimon and champion equivalent will be Depthmon. It's a crest of reliability, aka water armor, but also does bear some real similarities to Aqua's Keyblade armor. And then I would have it become Calamaramon, which of course is an aquatic Digimon, but its reference book listing does state its personality is sly and short-tempered like a witch, and a witch is close enough to a mage in my book. And then it would become Ancient Mermaidmon, I think working very well in tandem as feminine water elements for Aqua, but also they're yet another set of Frontier Digimon. And it is Frontier Anniversary Month. Have you noticed how many Frontier Digimon have been in this video? For Ventus, of course, his name, Keyblades, and attributes are the wind, and as such he had to have a Wind Guardian Digimon. As I intimated earlier, Clavisangemon would work great here, but Hunter proposed Rapidmon, which I really like. Obviously this now makes even more sense why I gave Vanitas, Wendigomon, and Cherubimon Vice earlier, but this also allows us to explore some fun Rapidmon evolutions and modes. Rapidmon Gold would give Ven the armor Digimon we need, and its Destiny crest would even tie into a lot of the Destiny themes in Kingdom Hearts. The opening cutscene of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep even has a hollowed out Ven on Destiny Islands with Master Xehanort. Its X antibody, Rapidmon X, also of course gives us more X themes with Ven's somewhat dark past and of course connection to Xehanort, and finally we could have Ven's normal Rapidmon digivolve to the Mega Fujinmon. This is a Mega I really like for Rapidmon anyway, but also of course is a Wind Guardian whose name Fujinmon comes from Fujin, the Shinto god, whose name literally means Wind God. Tremendous pick in my book. Next is Terra, and I have chosen the armor Digimon Bullmon as his champion equivalent, which as I said will become Groundramon. Just like Terranort, again the earth motif here being important, before finally Darkdramon. It hints at Terra's darkness without being hugely evil, as well as again being armored. Alongside Terranort's Examon, I think this illustrates just how far into darkness Xehanort's possession caused Terra to fall. Kairi, of course, has the flower-themed Keyblade Destiny's Embrace, as she hails from the idyllic Destiny Islands, but also originally Radiant Garden, which is why I have chosen her ultimate to be Lilamon. Fairly straightforward there, and then it will digivolve to lovely Angemon. It has some real visual cohesion with Kairi, but is of course also angelic, which ties into the Keyblade created from Kairi's charm, the Oathkeeper. In general, it works really well as the partner Digimon for a young girl like it does in Rearise. I might have just accidentally been saying Kairi the whole time. If I have, we're gonna have to work something out. And then Kairi's training partner, Lee, or Axel. Of course, the fire element is incredibly important here, so I will give Lee Meramon and Axel Meramon X. Meramon X wielding the X patch, which I think is a great visual match to Axel's chakrams. I had to use it. For Meramon's evolution, I choose to use the hybrid Digimon Aldamon in the role of an ultimate level Digimon, as I think it would look great alongside Lee, and reference both his Keyblade training and Path of Redemption. And our final member of the Seven Lights is King Mickey, and I have debated back and forth whether King Mickey would even have a Digimon partner, or would like Mickey be a Digimon character's partner, but no, while King Mickey doesn't have like a traditional humanoid body, he is clearly considered to be on the same level or even more powerful than other Keyblade wielders in Kingdom Hearts. He wields a Keyblade, which is a hugely important factor, just like the other Keyblade wielders, which creatures like, say, the Dream Eaters couldn't. I think the Dream Eaters and Chirithy, in fact, are our parallel to Digimon in Kingdom Hearts, as they are absolutely sentient, capable of emotions, etc., but are clearly not and are clearly distinct from Keyblade wielders, instead working alongside them. So theoretically, Mickey could have a Dream Eater or a Chirithy and is a Keyblade wielder, so therefore he could also get a Digimon partner. To reference his Starseeker Keyblade, I have given him Superstarmon. Mickey Mouse is definitely a superstar himself, the mascot of Disney and a huge player in Kingdom Hearts, but also because it would be a great pre-evolution to Mickey's main partner, Prince Mamemon. This member of the royal family adorned with a crown is such a natural pick for King Mickey, the king of Disney Castle. It's so good. Prince Mamemon can actually be quite egotistical, so I think it would make a great pairing with the noble, quite egoless Mickey, perhaps having to rein in his Digimon partner's delusions of grandeur. Now I know what you're thinking, what about Donald and Goofy? And yeah, they're probably even tougher. They are not Keyblade wielders, but they're definitely the same sort of species-ish as Mickey, not like animal species, but world species as King Mickey. So I think they would probably have Digimon partners, but just weaker ones, maybe of just like one level or something. So I'm gonna give Donald the Magician Bookworm Rurimon and Goofy the Shield Rookie Digimon Ludomon, just to say I did give them Digimon partners. If you don't think they should have some, that's fine. And that is my pick for Digimon partners for the 13 Darknesses, 7 Lights, and a couple of other people. But there are tons more Kingdom Hearts characters we could give Digimon partners to. The original Organization 13, Yozora, Namine, the Twilight Town Friends, a bunch of others in between. So if you want to see me do more Kingdom Hearts content, either giving people Digimon partners or just a video entirely about Kingdom Hearts, I'd love to do so. But yes, all your thoughts let me know in the comments down below. I really do appreciate it, and thank you to my wonderful sovereign ZDK14 for holding it down, as well as all the other names you can see on screen right now for supporting the channel with their hard-earned money and getting early access to all my videos, plus other rewards. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.